Hey, everybody. I'm Peter Vaughan with Cardboard Alchemy, and you are joining us for a Friday stream or whenever you want to watch this. We are talking about games. We're talking about what we're playing all together, like who's playing what for the weekend. We're also talking about what games we make at Cardboard Alchemy. I've got Rosie Pocket here. She is our comms manager, and she's ready to talk to you in the comments and also find out what your burning questions are for a board game publisher. Cardboard Alchemy makes Flamecraft, Critter Kitchen. Got Critter Kitchen art right behind me. We made Andromeda's Edge, which released last year to backers and now is in retail. So Critter Kitchen is our fourth game. So we're cooking up more games because we can't stop ourselves. So we can talk about all sorts of things. I mean, Critter Kitchen is one of the biggest topics I want to talk about because thank you, Hungry Gamer, for checking. Yes, we do make games here. We also make lots of other doodads and things because our campaigns tend to be like, I want an oven mitt. So we do that occasionally as well. As it turns out, Critter Kitchen has a lot of those types of things. We've been having some fun meetings over the cookie cutters, which are, you can get the character shapes from Critter Kitchen as cookie cutters. And we cannot wait for people to get those as well as the game. I mean, we want people to play the game. The game designed by Peter C. Hayward and Alex Cutler is amazing. Plays 1 to 7 players. Super excited by that, especially because I don't have enough 7-player strategy games. I mostly have party games that are that count. So you can get like a really meaty game with friends at 7. Stephanie, pretty sure it's Do You Want an Oven Mitt? Yes. Yes, we want all the things. And I love the fact that our fans, our community, want all the things. Be honest, Peter, the potion bottle trivet was just for me. Actually, that was for Brad. I will tell you that I found out that Brad and his family have like a series of those type of silicone trivets. And he was like, I need another one. So then we made it happen because we're like, we haven't talked to a trivet manufacturer yet. But we're here to talk about anything goes. Really, we could talk about. We have Rosie. I'm sure will have a list of topics for me, and past questions. But feel free to get in anything you want to know about design or development or art or sneak peeks. You might be able to convince me to share something earlier than we were going to do it because I heard a question on Facebook already. And then we can talk about what we're playing. I am having, because Axel did ask about my birthday week. I'm going to Vegas today. Las Vegas is only about 4 hours away from Los Angeles, and it's very convenient to go and get some. So I'm going to get some table games, not the usual kind of cardboard games that I get in, but I just had a weekend of board games with our lead developer, and we had Luke Laurie as a special guest in because we were playing some of the latest stuff that we're cooking, plus also looking at his stuff. So I did get a lot of those games in. I'm also going to get a lot of casino games in. It's very exciting. Put all of the Critter Kitchen profits on black. Yes, that's definitely what's going to happen. Sorry, Brad, in advance if that doesn't go well. But that's what we're going to do. We will, gonna hopefully have a fun time there. Ellie says I saw Blue Man Group and Cirque du Soleil when I went to Vegas. We're going to some Cirque du Soleil for sure. I have not seen Blue Man Group. That would be fun. I'm all about the colors these days, so I might as well go see a Blue Man Group show. All right, so let's bring on Rosie and we'll talk all sorts of things. Hi, Rosie.
Hello.
Welcome.
I wish my room was more colorful, but it's the warmer room.
You are in jolly old England and you're cold. Is that what's
Yeah,
happening?
my brother lives in Thailand and we voice message each other 99% of the time about Lorcana. And he just goes, how are you doing in cold England? And I'm like, not going to lie, I've got a duvet on right now. But that's probably my own fault because I don't run the heating that often. So
hey, look at this. Yele says, I got a mail from Spiral Galaxy yesterday. What could that be about? Oh, Critter Kitchen.
I got my mail as well. So
good. Like, excellent. So we're going to send you a Critter Kitchen. That's cool.
I know. I saw the comment about the toaster, and that's my fault, Will. There is no toaster, and I'm really sorry.
There was when Rosie came on, we had as a company had not done any April Fool's type jokes, and Rosie's like, "I got you. I already know." I think you've got years ahead in advance, right? You know.
I actually have in our like organizing app them scheduled. Like I'm like, this is what we're doing. But yeah, and
I
I
love
made
it. I
that
love a
out
good
of
April
like
Fool. I love one.
I made that on my iPad, just like this toaster, and thought it looks realistic enough, but not realistic. And then everyone's like, "This is real, right?"
I want a Flamecraft toaster. I
Brad was
mean,
like, "We are not making electrical items."
that's where we draw the line. Electrical items. It's very funny that Brad should say that, because I was cooking up a miniature idea that would be light, that would shine light out of parts of it. And then I was thinking about batteries, and Brad said, well, we could just make it a little bit more environmental friendly and rechargeable. And I was like, that sounds like it's going to have an electrical element.
Yeah.
So we might be breaking in here when
Next up, toaster.
we make that. The toaster could be next. So yeah, that was one of the things that popped up. Now we do make a lot of merch. Actually, what's interesting is I can't wait till we post a little bit more about Flamebound, which is the sequel to Flamecraft, and then get people's idea of what merch they want to see, because of course we got to do some more merch. We actually have a campaign coming up before Flamebound, which we're going to start talking about really soon, which is for, I did mention it on the stream before, Flamecraft Duels. We're going to talk a little bit about this 2-player game that people can get their hands on sooner than that, and that campaign will probably have a couple merch items as well, because we gotta have some fun. And I believe people are owed plush dragons in their collections. So
yeah.
But before we get into all the Flamecraft stuff, before we get into all that, we should talk about Critter Kitchen, because it is coming. It's around the corner.
It is indeed.
We said we put out an update 2 days ago. Yes, 2 days ago. It's hard to remember all the days. And January feels like it's going very fast, I will say. So we put out an update that was a shipping update. It wasn't our sexiest update of all, but it was important. It was like, let's talk about when you're going to get your stuff, which is probably the best update ever. Other than the fact that you have to still wait for your stuff a little bit longer, just a tiny bit longer. But we have an update for every country in that update. We're finding out which country is going to be the first one. I really think that Canada, our friends at Pick and Pack, are trying to be the first. They are like, can we go? Can we go? Can we go?
Yeah.
We're like, yes, as soon as we get you the list, as you have the boxes and you have all the stuff, it's like, yeah, let's go. But Australia, not to be outdone, is like, we're going to go also. And then Europe, Spiral Galaxy is like, well, we're going to go. I was hoping that would make the United States, well, the Fulfillment Center of the United States, to be fair, has campaigns before us. So I didn't bribe them enough money, apparently, to be next. And we will deal with that. But it's close. It's very close.
I think we're going to be surprised. It's just going to, a country out of nowhere, it's going to go, wait, what? Did you get?
Yeah. There's a chance that Singapore could be first, because we did send the Singapore items like really early. Because it was one of those things where we were talking to VFI, and they're like, well, there's no boats going before our holiday except this one boat to Singapore. And we're like, we'll take it. We'll go on that boat. So Sandara might get her copy first.
Yeah,
that'd be fun, actually. She deserves it, because she did all this amazing art. We talk a lot about her. Let me like post up we have a background for Critter Kitchen, don't we? We have, I mean, it's hard to see, but like the characters are running in under the get your questions in. But she did such a great job at making this world with all these critters in it. We've talked about how there's like 72 different unique critters, but I haven't ever counted the number of critters as a whole, because every kitchen has unique characters. I mean, there's like a mouse and a lizard and a boar in each kitchen. And then there's, of course, all of the scenes with the mouse and the lizard and the boar in different parts of, and there's different restaurants and different characters. So all told, I remember when Flamecraft came out, Sandar's family did a count of how many dragons were in the game total, which turned out to be, I think, like 372 dragons in the game, something like that.
Oh, wow.
And so it would be fun. Someone's got to help us count critters so that we can figure out how many
I kind of
animals.
don't want that job. That sounds really long.
It can be fun to count.
Is that a new one, or is he over there?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would get caught up looking at the art, and then I go, wait, I was counting. Oh no, start again. Maybe I could log them all on an Excel sheet. Like, I see a dog.
Well, Stephanie, who was in this chat, at the time when we launched Critter Kitchen, Stephanie did something really cool, which is she donated money for every unique critter that we unlocked. It was really a sweet thing. To a fund in California. She might, if she's still here, she could say which fund it was, but it was really a really cool thing to do.
Sweet.
I'll never forget. Those are the backers do the most awesome things. I'm still writing letters back to backers, but I hear stories of like, oh, this is like, I'm having a Flamecraft event, or I'm doing this. And it's just so neat to see what people do. Speaking of people who have done things, I will bring up Hungry Gamer has run this tournament to determine the game of the year via his dog. So Beatrice, the board game dog, basically has 2 boxes on the floor and a blueberry in front of each box, and has a dog cam, and has to go whichever blueberry Beatrice eats first, that game wins that bracket. And I was very curious to see what Beatrice would do when Andromeda's Edge was against like things in rings, like a small box versus a big box. But time and time again, Beatrice chose Andromeda's Edge, and lo and behold, Andromeda's Edge took down that competition. Clearly, the most important game of the year that we've been in so far for that game.
I heard that you were maybe like giving extra blueberries to Beatrice.
Before Beatrice did this competition, I did feed Beatrice some blueberries. I don't think that influenced it. I mean, it was right next to the Andromeda's Edge box that I was feeding Beatrice. No, just kidding.
Did you hide anything like inside the box?
I did not. But the box is blue. Andromeda's Edge retail box is blue. Kind of looks like it could be of the blueberry family.
But blue, I think blue and yellow are colors that dogs find easier to see. So I'm always curious if that also helps them. But I don't know if they see them and then trust them. It might just be a color they can see. But I am quite amazed at going all the way around the box to get to the blueberries. It's quite an incredible feat.
This year, having the dog cam was amazing because it was a GoPro.
It was really funny. It was very sweet. My dog would do none of that. I know he would just be like, no. I tried to do dog bowling with him because Big Potato Games brought out dog bowling the game, and he just would leap over the things he's supposed to knock down. So he would just, and I'm like, make them bigger. I don't know how do we make him knock these over. He would just leap.
Wow, that's fun.
I like.
Thank you for. Yeah, thanks for A is the best game of all times. Personally, Meme Stealer saying personally I play it every week. A is a very good game. Thank you for saying that. We are going to see how people react to Critter Kitchen. Just to get back to Critter Kitchen, it's coming. And so we're going to, Rosie's planning a bunch of content for everybody, which is going to be an unboxing, a reboxing. We'll talk about, we have some gameplay from various content creators. That's going to be fun to put out.
Yeah, we're getting in. Well, we already have stuff filmed and mostly edited. And then we have stuff filmed and I'm editing it. And then we're also working with different people to get some stuff. But if there's any content that you're like, I would really like to see this, then please let us know in the comments. Any ideas that we aren't aware of or anything we think would be really useful for people to see, because we love trying different things and making different videos. So I always do an unboxing and a reboxing because I've always found that as someone that makes them generally, when I search stuff to see if I put it in the right way, those videos don't exist. So often I'm the first to do it. So this time around, at least I can check it's correct before it goes out. Because often in my personal time, I don't know if what I'm doing is correct because I don't get to speak to the publisher. But this time we're like, right, this is where everything goes and you get all the exact information. But I will say it was very, it made a lot of sense before I even checked with Peter. I was like, makes sense from what the sheet says. So,
Yeah. I also would like to know if anyone has any videos from another company that they think are really great for when you get a new game off of Kickstarter. Do you want like a full play? Like, do you want to see like everyone like play the game out? Do you want to see a quick? Do you want to see setup? Do you want to see do you want to see some deeper strategy? Like, do you want to see like, oh, cool, I know everything about this game, but like, for example, if you had one of the designers from Critter Kitchen say like, oh, these 3 carts are a really good combos, that kind of stuff you want to hear. If there's an example of a video you think someone did a really great job, we'd love to know. It is very hard to do, in my personal opinion, it is very hard to do a how to play that is captivating and does not put you to sleep. I think that most videos that are created, the people who are doing the video are having a great time, but it is very hard to get someone ready for game night, because for game night, what you kind of need is a cheat sheet. You need sort of a primer. You don't need to know everything. You need to know key things that you might get wrong, but you never know what you're going to like run up against. So it's actually really hard to prep for a game night with a video like that. So it makes sometimes how to play content goes all over the place because they're trying to meet several different types of viewers.
Yeah.
And
because as I learn games, I learn them from Doug. That is my Doug will
there you go.
will learn the games by watching the videos, and then he teaches me, and I learn by playing because I'm not very good at. Thank you, Doug, for that, the great service that you do. Whereas other people enjoy reading the rulebook and watching videos or learning from like things and then playing it. I like to play like half a game, then start again. Sometimes I'll be like, let's just work it out and then make our mistakes, correct, and then start again. Obviously, certain games are too long to do that with, but that often with a quick game, you're like, oh, let's just give it a go and go. But
by the way, Axel points out this is the absolute truth. Certifiable Studios made the best videos ever created for board games. I will stand by this 100%. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but like, for example, they made the game Who Goes There? And they did a video where everyone was in the room playing already. Okay, so you're already looking at 5 people, boards out. It's like coming to game night. You're as POV, you're coming in the door, seeing a game in progress, and the head of the studio turns around and says, "Oh, you're here. Let me tell you about this game." And everybody freezes. And then he says, "We're about to take the second turn of the game in which they don't know that I'm doing." Like, he does this thing, and then he goes, "Let's see how it unfolds." And then it just kind of goes into the action. And then he freezes again and says, "I think they're lying over there at the end of the table." It was like so interactive, so amazing.
Yeah, I need to watch these. That sounds really good.
It's so much fun.
Because the ones I actually watched to learn were Tabletop with Will Wheaton. Was it Tabletop? What was it called?
Hungry Gamer brings up another amazing video. If anyone has not seen the Hero Quest video, the best thing about Hero Quest is, and then that guy was a massive fan of Hero Quest. I actually tried to get that guy to do videos about the games that I made at the time I worked for Breaking Games, and he wrote and said, "They're not Hero Quest, therefore I will not cover them." It's so awesome. So,
that's awesome. Yeah, I need to watch these. They sound cool.
Well, Stephanie has the charity link. It's the Alameda Community Food Bank. Thank you for doing that again, Stephanie. That was one of the coolest things I've ever heard someone do on one of our campaigns. Was donate.
We made a lot of critters.
I mean, Cedar just kept going, so it was awesome. Anyway, so we've got a bunch of people who are about to get Critter Kitchen. I will give some, if you get Critter Kitchen and you're getting the deluxe, there is a large box coming to you. I don't have the box like handy, but it is pretty large, and it will take you like a good chunk of an hour to put everything back. I mean, there's over 400 pieces of custom wood, as well as metal coins and metal stars and all these baggies, and it's just like it is a epic time, but it is a long thing to put together because we unlocked a lot. There were 92 stretch goals unlocked. It was a big amount of content.
Once you put it in the insert, it's way less daunting.
And you cannot cook soup in the little game trays that holds the soup tokens. That's
please do not do that. That would be dangerous. It would melt.
Yes, there are over 400 pieces, 400 wooden pieces in the deluxe edition of Critter Kitchen. That was I remember fondly the day that we decided to launch that, and then everyone said, "There's not enough wood." We weren't going to do the soup tokens as wood. We weren't going to do every little cart token as wood because we thought, well, that'll weigh a ton and that'll be a massive, massive game. It might not be possible to do it at the cost that we currently have budgeted, and then we dug deep and we found out a way to do it. Thanks to all the backers that came on board, we decided to make every single token that is in all the cart tokens that were unlocked, all of it wood. That took the plant a long time to make, and we don't know as of right now, and I certainly hope this is not the case, how many wood tokens they didn't get right or forgot, or someone's box is going to have. It's going to be at a very, very interesting time for our customer service, because when you make these things, there is like, oh, this one's missing a flower token, that one's missing the 7 carat. These things are going to happen. Usually it's a low percentage, but because we have so many items, it will be like all over the place.
I mean, I've been through my copy and it looks great.
Oh, great. Excellent. So we got one done. Excellent. Great. I did give a copy to Peter, C Hayward, and Alex, and they have not reported anything missing yet. So I think we've done 3.
It's
spot on.
They're very pretty.
It's kind of amazing when you think of the manufacturing job in general, because they are like, they have to have a visual guide of like, okay, there's 7 flower tokens that go in this bag. And then that bag goes on this conveyor belt and someone's checking. And if it's like, oh, no, that one looks like it doesn't have enough flower tokens. They also weigh the game at the end. Now, weighing the game at the end can kind of say, is it within 0.1 of what it should weigh? But that doesn't really tell you if you stuck double the flower tokens and none of the, none of these other tokens, right? It doesn't really, it's not a fail safe if there's something that's happened on that conveyor belt line. Yeah, there's no mortality sphere though in Critter Kitchen, so we're good on that one. The mortality sphere being one of the items from Andromeda's Edge that had like an out of nowhere type of breakage issue that was higher than normal. That can happen, but this particular one was because we had the crazy idea to have basically the Death Star. It's the Death Star, and it's got these fins on it. Sergio was like, well, I'll make it look different than the Death Star. It's going to have these fins, and one of them's like a giant mohawk, and then we asked our manufacturer to make those clear plastic, so it looked like they're floating, and then the clear plastic was not strong enough for the glue, and it was a whole thing. It was like, okay. By the way, for future copies of Andromeda's Edge that contain the mortality sphere, now they've got like a bendy plastic on the sphere, and it's amazing. But we didn't know that was going to happen. So what will be the surprise that happens in Critter Kitchen? We don't know yet. You could be one of the ones to find out. Now, there are some other surprises, of course, that are going to be so much fun to see people find. We told everyone there was a reindeer coming in their copy. One of the latest zoo chefs unlocked. There's 38 zoo chefs now in this game. So whether you got the standard edition or the deluxe, you're getting 38 different animals that could come into your game at any time. It is so much fun because when you play that game and you only put 6 in a game, you're like, there are so many more different animals. I haven't played with the panda yet. I haven't played with the leopard yet. I haven't played with the porcupine yet. I mean, it is just so much fun to get all those animals.
Meme Stealer did ask, do you have any intent to have extra content for the game that can be bought later, like some figurines to replace the cardboard chefs? Well, in the deluxe, they're wooden meeples, individual wooden meeples for all of the little zoo chefs.
Yeah, both editions have wooden main chefs.
Yes. So. But they are cardboard zoo chefs in the standard.
Correct.
Little shapes like this, little archways. Yes. But we don't have plans to make them into plastic figurines at all. There's just too many, I think.
And this is an interesting thing about like board games in general, because the industry has, it's a luxury type of thing to buy board games, but also it is amazing how much 38 pieces of wood cost, like with silk screen on them and like printed like that cost. And so one of the reasons why the standard edition has just the main characters as wood is because we want a little something special in there, but we know that cost would be too high in retail to have all of those pieces as wood. And because it is cost prohibitive to print those over and over, we want to do it one big batch, which is why the campaign allows crazy things like metal stars and all the wooden pieces, and it's a one-time event usually. So that's good and bad. We can't really get the wooden pieces printed easily after this campaign. So if you're a standard customer, the gameplay is all still there, but the bling is, it is one of those magical things. You got to join us on a campaign to get in. Sometimes we have a game that goes like Flamecraft level, where Flamecraft had enough interest to make the coins continue. The metal coins just kept going. Whereas the Critter Kitchen coins, for right now, it's a one-time deal, unless the same thing happens with Critter Kitchen and people can't get enough of this game. And then, of course, we'll look at making more in the future. But that's the nature of crowdfunding. It's the magic of crowdfunding, I guess, is that you sometimes get these ideas that would never be a thing unless a bunch of people come together and say, I want to make this thing. Because if you look at the retail model, no one would put metal stars, like 72 metal stars in a game. You just wouldn't do that, because you wouldn't know enough people would buy that, and you couldn't risk that. You wouldn't spend the molding costs. But Kickstarter says, do we all want to do this crazy, awesome thing? If we do, then let's do it. But then after that, you'll see a lot of great games actually disappear because the publisher has no means to make it again, because maybe it just sold out and then there wasn't another Kickstarter. There are so many games where they just disappear after crowdfunding. So you never know, the fate of something. Now, we've been very lucky at Cardboard Alchemy, where Andromeda's Edge got a following, so it's getting reprinted. And we may return to Andromeda's Edge and do another printing of the deluxe items. The Critter Kitchen is one of those, we will see what happens kind of campaigns. We'll see how people enjoy it. Now, I think a lot of people are going to fall in love with Critter Kitchen's gameplay. I was talking to Lucky Duck, and they're the ones distributing it in the US, and they're getting excited. They got Barnes and Noble excited. They've got local game stores excited. And as they go to shows, I think they're gonna start dressing up as chefs and making kitchens and like getting into it. So
it's exciting. It's exciting what they're going to be doing. I
Food
guess the
is
great thing
just
about
great.
having a kitchen is a tangible thing that you can create and
Yeah, right.
put out there. Whereas as beautiful and fantastical as Flamecraft is, it definitely is a bigger challenge to recreate that in the real world.
True, right?
Not that we wouldn't, but
Someday we're gonna get there, possibly.
Hey, there's a Moomin world. There's a Peppa Pig world. There,
we could get this Flamecraft thing to happen. I mean, there was a we have the next adventure. They're going out in the wilderness. I could see us maybe making some kind of adventure where you could come in and get a sneak peek at where the dragons are going to go. I think we could do that.
That would be fun.
But cooking and food themes are so easy to get into, because in Critter Kitchen too, we have like all these famous celebrity chefs like Goat and Ramsay, and there were so many, like Guy Fieri. Thank you, Alex Cutler, for all the puns on Critter Kitchen, because there are so many different ways you can get into it. There was a game several years ago. I don't remember the name of it, so it's going to be terrible, this story. But the game was a lot of social things you could ask friends to do. So like you could get a card that says, have a celebrity sign this card and then pass that card on to another person. It was like a bunch of tasks.
Yeah.
I would be very curious if anybody ever gets one of the Critter Kitchen celebrity chef cards to get signed by the actual person. That would be amazing if that ever happened.
I'm in London, and a lot of chefs have restaurants in London. I mean, Gordon Ramsay has a restaurant,
right?
Jamie Oliver lives. I mean, they live in the countryside now. And
speaking of which, I'm going to Hell's Kitchen tonight in Vegas, so I should just bring his card on the off chance, right? I know
you never know.
I mean,
yeah, I guess the places they won't be would be their restaurants, just because that's the place everyone expects to be. You never know.
I remember when Peter C. Hayward was in Vegas right before the campaign or right after the campaign, and he was posting pictures of all of the chefs that were in the game that he could see a sign of in Vegas, which is pretty fun because he was actually going on a check. I see that one. But anyway, Critter Kitchen is very addictive because it is a simultaneous play. I'd be very curious to see if anyone has played games like that before, where it's like, hey, your worker placement is all at the same time. I think it's one of the, I know there are some that do it, but it's one of the first that has like taken that for worker placement. It's what made it so innovative when we signed it. It's a very addictive thing to outguess where everyone's going with their worker placement actions. So we're very excited by Critter Kitchen. Cannot wait. It's coming. There should be posts. We're just like 2 weeks from now. There'll probably be the first post.
It's gonna come out of nowhere. I'm just curious whose time zone's gonna get it.
Yeah, right.
Will it be me? Will it be Sandara?
I think in Andromeda's Edge we had what I didn't have on my bingo card is that the Australian team at Aetherworks released it early. They got the memo, but then they forgot the memo, and then they said, "Oh, I think we're just going to ship it now with no tracking." There was they apologized for that. They normally do tracking, they confirm addresses and all that stuff, but they just skipped a step. They were so excited by Andromeda's Edge, they were like, "Boom, we're first." And then we were like, "Wait a second, nobody has tracking." So that was fun. But fulfillment is very difficult because, in the US alone, there's over 8,000 packages. 8,000 packages that have to be coordinated.
Wait. All packet? You mean Critter Kitchen?
Critter Kitchen. Critter Kitchen
My brain was
packages.
like, that's not a big number for the entirety of the US.
No, we're talking about Critter Kitchen. Now, of course, this is a drop in the bucket to most fulfillment companies that are like, well, I move all these pallets of groceries or whatever. But at a board game level, 8,000 items, all of which, by the way, not all of which, but like a lot of which are like, I have the game and a cookie cutter. I have the game and a cookie cutter and an oven mitt. I have the oven mitt and some stickers in the game, and every one of the orders is different. So it is a very big job.
How many soup tokens is that? 8,000 times?
Well, let's do the math. Let's pretend there's 8,000 units in the United States, and let's say, because we did throw the expansion in for free, and the expansion comes with some more soup tokens. So there's 54. We can make it easy. We'll just say 50 soup tokens per game. It's a little tiny bit more, but that's there you go. That's how many soup tokens were produced for the United States.
I need a calculator. I'm not good at
There you go.
My brain's like 4,000. No, Rosie, that's wrong. Yeah, 400,000. Yeah, 400,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of soup.
That's a lot of soup tokens. Now, if you take the fact that there's 400 pieces of, well, the deluxe backers is not 8,000, but there's a lot of wooden tokens. Now, one of the interesting things about, I don't go too deep into fulfillment logistics, but it is an entire different adventure to try and ship a game somewhere. And what was really interesting is as the boats were on their way and they were coming in December and we thought we had everything buttoned up, the US made some new law that said you have to declare the type of plant species used in every piece of wood in an item coming in the United States. And we were like, we don't know what plant, you had to have all the scientific data for every single piece of wood. And so that was an interesting one to go find out what did, a lot of birch actually is what we found out.
Also, we had a thing over here in the UK, which was like GPRS or something, which meant that we also had to have a rep in the EU. And I think Brad also had to sort that out, like a rep in the EU, so that manufacturing testing was fine. Which for this it's fine, but a lot of small businesses really struggle because they don't test their knitting, they don't test whatever. So it's another really fun thing to come up right at the moment.
The testing and all that stuff is a very interesting thing because, of course, every country does it differently. I remember another kind of story about that is we came up with the age range for Flamecraft. We thought, people could play it at 10, or people could play at 12. I think we were going with 12. And if you go under 14 in the EU, of course, you have to do more testing. So we were like, fine, we'll do more testing. But then like countries like France said, nope, it should be 10. And countries like Korea said, nope, it should be 14. Because they all had their opinion about what it should be. And it was fascinating because everyone wanted to change the age. And we're like, finally, we were like, everyone just put whatever age you want for your country. It's fine. But it
Yeah,
was a
fun fact, the age on a board game is probably not the age that it's meant to be played at. It's the age it's meant to be, held by a child.
right.
Will this aged child eat this?
We've always put the like the baby icons like 0 to 3. Don't touch this thing. For board games, you don't want any of that. Just no baby should go near the soup.
Which means if a game does say like 4-year-old, it really is for 4-year-olds because they have spent a lot of money to get it to that age.
Yeah,
Because
right.
they really I think they're called Habba. Like Rhino Hero is a great game for like 4-year-olds. And I also think that when people ask me about ages, it really is about the kid and not the age. We've got lots of people like 6, 7-year-olds playing Flamecraft because they've just got a different mentality towards it. So it's really hard to say sometimes.
Because board game family kids are also a little bit more advanced. You know, like a kid in your family, if you play a lot of games and if you're raising your family to play games, probably has it covered. But then if I introduce it to, say, one of my cousins who does not play very many board games, they might go, what is this thing? Although, a side note, this is all over the place, this stream, but that's fine. I used to take my son to Boy Scout of America meetings, and they have game nights there. In fact, they have a merit badge you can get for game design, which is awesome.
I think I've seen that for Scouts.
Yeah. And I used to think to myself, because I'm a sommelier sometimes of board games, I feel like I can pick a group, I can know a group of people, and I can say, what game you should get is this one. I love playing that game. So I thought I could bring a game to the Boy Scouts meetings that would be like entry-level game that everyone could get. And I brought a variety of choices, but every one of them failed because the adults in the room were like, I have no idea what you're doing. This is like a foreign language to me. But I will say the kids were fine. They were like, oh yeah, so this I could adapt. Most of the kids were able to, like, either from playing Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or something. They were like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I put evolution on the table one time thinking it was like, well, it's, like creatures are evolving and stuff. Whoosh, right over the heads. But the kids got it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's so I get asked a lot. People just ask me personally because of my channel. They go, "Oh, what game for this age?" And I go, "What do they already play?" That's always my first question. Because I was like, also, I always give the caveat of, I don't have kids. I have never tested a game on anyone younger than I think 25. So I don't know. I really haven't done the testing. There are great channels called like Board Game. A Tabletop Family and there's ones like Board Gaming with My Family. They actually do test with different ages, but I don't. So I just assume the box is correct and my perception of the game. But it's always a guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So let's see
some other questions. Which is, what are the chances of getting Critic Kitchen, Andromeda's Edge, or Flamecraft onto Board Game Arena?
Oh, that is a good topic. Very good topic.
I love Board Game Arena.
I love Board Game
Arena. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've played games over there. This is where I first played River of Gold. Oh my god, love that game. And I
hear Will likes that game quite a lot as
well. Yeah, Will likes that game. Will's the one who taught me that game. But also I've played I played a lot of Lost Ruins of Arnak over there. Oh my god. It was how I got, like, because I wanted to play more of that game, and you can get a fast pickup game and you just get going. So the way the Board Game Arena works is that you have developers who have to believe in the game. So you can't just go over there and put up a game. You actually have to approach Board Game Arena, and then you have to find a developer that wants to run it. And also, so that does sort of mean, first of all, that the game's got to be popular enough that there's someone at BGA that wants to spend the time putting it up there. Now, of course, it's a whole thing. We never actually had anybody ask for Flamecraft. Interesting. And we didn't pursue Flamecraft because we have some other digital plans for Flamecraft that I cannot get into at this time, but I cannot wait to talk about at another juncture. So that takes care of Flamecraft. Andromeda's Edge, we are actually talking to BGA right now, just because we are thinking that would be a good home for Andromeda's Edge. And so we are excited for that possibility. More on that as it develops, if we get that going. And Critic Kitchen is too early because nobody in that development environment knows about it or like has buzzed about it or talked about it yet. But when Critic Kitchen gets out there,
Yeah.
I do think there'll be a lot of people saying, can we get this game over there
Yeah.
to get a good play of that game?
Because I
So
think a lot of people realize that most board game publishers are quite small, and
yeah,
running an online version of it on BGA or anything requires constant maintenance, even if it's like a little bit of constant maintenance. Lauren on our team sorts out the TTS, the tabletop simulators, and that's a massive task in itself.
oh
And
yeah,
that's just for playtesting and testing amongst the team, and also putting it within the game found or Kickstarters. So that's already a massive amount of work, which she does incredibly well at. But
yeah,
it requires these extra people that you don't realize you need until someone's like, do you want to do that? And you're like, okay, how do
yeah.
we do
I
that?
fun fact, I used to work in game online. I used to do iOS apps with Brad. So Brad ran teams and teams of programmers, and I was one of those programmers for a while because I said, "Hey, can I join your team?" I turned out that I am not the best programmer, and I knew I wasn't, but I thought I was going to be unique because I could speak art language and I could speak programming language. I thought that was going to be a fun combo. But I do know how much work it takes to put in the time. So I'm very appreciative that Lauren codes our TTS mods, and I'm also super appreciative of how big a game Andromeda's Edge would be to put on BGA. So we'll have to see if we can get that going.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
definitely want to talk about that soon. We'll give an update on that this year.
We have some other topics we wanted to go through.
Yeah.
I want to ask you what games you're looking forward to in 2025, because I'm seeing everyone's like lists. And do you have any on your radar that you're like, I've heard this is coming out? We can't say our own.
Sure. No, I have one. I have my ultimate number one game of 2025 already picked out. Sorry. All the other games. I do want to play a lot of games in 2025. Usually it takes me some months to build up like, oh, okay, which one do I want to get my hands on? I have a couple 2024 ones that I didn't get to play that are like also pent up. I'm waiting to play. But I did play quite a bit of the 2024 list, like like I wanted to play Tea Garden and Galileo Galilei and SETI, and I wanted to get Civolution in, and I got all those in. But there's a big, chunky, heavyweight game coming in 2025, Galactic Cru.
Oh, yeah.
And I have played it because the designer team that they happen to be at Tantrum Con. I was at Tantrum Con at the beginning of last year, and they were running demos of it. I couldn't catch one of those demos. They saw me like hanging out, and they're like, "Do you want a game of Galactic Cru?" And I was like, "You bet I want a game of Galactic Cru." And we played. We had this amazing time, and that game delivers 100% on that experience. So in that game, you're running like your own private cruise to different planets and whatnot. So they have a really fun little rocket board where you're like deciding what's going to be on each level of the rocket, and you could go talk to the little travel agency and you could decide like go-karts are going to be on level 1 of my rocket, and then on level 2 is going to be this massive buffet, and on level 3 is going to be like, I don't know, some like a dog park or something. Like you just decide what's on this like super cruise, right? And every game you play, you get to program different things on there, and they can be family events. There's like 3 different types of events. They can be like exciting events, like roller coasters and whatnot. And you actually have to go get marketing too, because it's not enough to just build this rocket. You have to go tell everyone about it. You have to say the cruise is going at this time. You have to get like a PR agent. It's a little bit like, like all big Euros and stuff like that, is it's got like lots of moving parts. So I have a great rocket, but nobody knows about it. I have a great rocket, but it doesn't have any fuel. I mean, you have to do all this stuff to get it going, but it never feels bogged down in like, some of those can feel like a simulation, not a game. This feels very much like it's a pretty simple system. You're trying to launch as many rockets as you can before the end of the game and get a lot of people on them and make bucks off of the customers that are going on your rocket, your Galactic Cruise. It is so much fun, that game.
The box itself looks amazing. I love the style. It feels like those old like infographic books when they used to draw out spaceships and
Yes,
show the
the
inside areas. It's really cool.
Ian O'Toole, I believe, is the artist for that.
Very cool.
And just a gorgeous look at the inside of a rocket with like all the fun happening on the inside. And
really
if that doesn't like just spark like your imagination is, oh, I'm gonna build this amazing like cruise for all these people. I have wanted to make. I've been on a couple of board game cruises before. I know the Dice Tower cruise just happened. In fact, we might have some fun thing to share. A picture from one of our fans, but Brad and I were on one together, and we were both like, we could make a like. We often thought about making a game off of the cruise. So I love that Galactic Cruise has already done it.
Yeah.
There are some Kickstarter games that are about to come out that I'm very excited about. Not delivering 2025, but launching in a moment.
Yeah, there are.
Before we get to that, there's a comment. I was lucky to play Galactic Cruise as a prototype. It was amazing. I agree, 100%.
I know that it'll be a game for Doug. He loves space and he loves the idea of managing a ship and building a ship and stuff like that.
Oh, this is nice that we got a Critter Kitchen nod there. Thanks for mentioning that. Deluxe Cities, 18XX. 18XX is a very fun category to get into. People really love that.
T-Witches is mentioned.
Oh yeah, T-Witches.
I'm spending this year collecting a lot of Sundaratang games. This is the year.
This is the year. Like the thing that's funny about those, there's a lot of lists mentioning T-Witches, which I love because Manny and Sandara have cooked up this like super cute. The little tea pups that are in there are adorable, and I want that game like now. But the other thing that we know about is that there's a Flamecraft game coming that was not on our bingo cards, but now is going to be a really exciting thing to present, and also the sequel to Flamecraft. And also, this is the year that Critter Kitchen comes out. So and I've just seen a post on Sandara's timeline that the creators of Honey Buzz and her worked on a game together called
Trinket Trove, I think.
Trinket Trove, and it's gorgeous. So this is the year that if you want Sandara Tang's artwork on games,
yeah, this is the year I dedicate a shelf.
Which is
I have no restriction when it comes to my favorite artists. I will just have everything.
It's good to note that T-Witches is not crowdfunding. It's coming direct to retail around Gen Con. And then also, I think
Trinket Trove is the same.
Is also just coming out of Gen Con, which is great because then they just show up and you're like, done.
There's like 5 little games, and that's one of them from that company, I think.
Ours take longer to bake in the oven, but that does not mean that there'll be no shortage of awesomeness with games coming, because Critter Kitchen, of course, is coming out of the oven, and then the Flamecraft things are going into the oven. So we'll have a lot of fun things to talk about. And Sandara, hopefully we get some lives with Sandara to show more drawing. I love when we do one of those things where she gets to share her process.
Yeah,
a little
absolutely. Bit. Yeah.
If you're watching Sandara, we love those, so we want to do more of those. Right now, she's
always looking forward to any Cardboard Alchemy game.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, I am, but it's like biased to say.
I know, it's easy to.
I would still be saying it if I didn't work for Cardboard Alchemy, because anything that you created before was beautiful. But yeah. Suddenly, I'm biased.
So, just to mention, because we sometimes do crowdfunding games that are coming out that I'm like really looking forward to. There's a game coming out called A Place for All My Books, which I have mentioned before. Oh, look at that! You have it. Could I just have that copy?
This is the prototype because I'm reviewing it. So I'm very excited to play it. I've only unboxed it so far, but it's really cute, and I love.
Oh, that's nice.
I hope I'm allowed to show this. Don't tell anyone. I think I am. Yeah, I mean it's really soon. It's like the 28th of January.
We're not supposed to show this stuff, but look at how awesome that is. So that is the board game industry is very small and connected. And Alex Cutler, one of our co-designers on Critter Kitchen, is also designed that game with Mike Michalczyk and
illustrated by Naomi Lord.
Yeah, Naomi Lord did a great job, and it's a cute idea that you're at home and you don't have the social energy to go out yet, so you focus on all the things you love and you organize your books, and as you do so, putting all the green ones together or putting all the ones about cozy games together or whatever you're doing on your shelves, then you build up the energy to go back outside. And when you go outside, you can go to the library and check out books, or you can go to the bookstore and buy more books, or you can go, there's a
How
couple.
cute is that?
That's super cute. You can go to all these little places to get more books.
It's so cute.
It's that one's crowdfunding in January, I believe.
is.
So
I think it's January 28th.
there's a Kickstarter notification page. If you want to follow A Place for All My Books, you can go follow along and get on that one. I think it's going to be it's adorable, the concept, and I played it. I played it at when was that? Tantrum Con? Was that also Tantrum Con? I might have played it at Tantrum Con last year when it was when it was early on. It was good then. It's probably even better now.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Jason EasyCat also got a prototype because
he's a perfect person to get that game because he's into board games and he's into books.
He's so perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks stunning, and Alex Cutler, I've spoken to him about it, and he just gets it in terms of like bookish people and what they care about, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, there's also another game coming out the same day on Kickstarter called Twinkle Twinkle, which is by Eamon Anderson. You have that one also, Rosie.
Look.
Like, if I want to go get games, I don't go to Kickstarter. I just go to your house.
When there's that might cost more. When there are cozy games, sometimes
you get all the cozy games ahead of time.
I know, and then I usually have to send them to someone else, so I don't get to keep them. They then go on to another reviewer.
You send them to me next, then.
No, unless you want to start reviewing them.
I don't have that.
But no, this one just arrived today, and it's like constellations, and it looks very cute and little.
Oh, that's neat. I mean, is it the art by Eamon as well?
Natalie.
Okay, he does do art. He did all the art for Gnome Hollow, I believe. And Manny actually wrote some of the stories inside the rulebook for Gnome Hollow, so that was really cool.
I love Hungry Gamer. He says that's way better than what I get. I get every game that is remotely related to food. I mean, usually the food ones are cozy too.
Does that mean you're getting Critter Kitchen covered? I mean, it's food in there.
But I do appreciate I'm seeing more games with cozy written on the box. Like, it literally is written.
Oh, is it saying cozy? Oh, look at that. You have a category of game now where they're coming to you and they're labeling.
And also shout out to Foster the Meeple, who just posted a video of how to a guide to getting into cozy gaming. And it was very cute.
That's nice.
And we know Foster the Meeple is a big fan of Flamecraft.
Oh, huge fan. I mean, I had a good conversation with Jamie at BGG. I believe Foster the Meeple does like a month-long solo play deep dive, and they were talking about doing Flamecraft as like coming back to go all throughout the campaign of Flamecraft. Speaking of which, we actually have, because we mentioned two things that we have a picture of, because we do. Rosie's got a new thing where we're going to highlight someone who posts in one of our Facebook groups or Discord. And we're gonna
One, I want to incentivize you to post in the groups some fun things so that I can share them, and it's a constant cycle. And two, I just really love seeing people's different posts. It makes our week seeing the interaction that's still growing from these different games. For Flamecraft, obviously Flamecraft is popular with lots of different groups, but solo is one I love hearing about, because the idea that someone has set the whole game up and had a really lovely little chill session playing it, it's very sweet. I've done it myself as well, and it's lots of fun. And there were two this week. I
want to take a moment to appreciate the photography also, because that cat.
Look at that cat. That doesn't come in the box, just so everyone knows. Also, I believe they've sleeved. Have they sleeved their? It looks different.
It's possible that is sleeved, because we didn't. The way that Flamecraft fit in the box, there wasn't room for the shop cards, and we figured those were too big anyway.
But they definitely sleeve their other cards as well. So I'm always curious where they find these giant sleeves. So Natalie played it solo and unlocked all the achievements in solo mode for the first time.
But if you read the timing, I got it over the holiday season and they've already unlocked. Now, that would have taken me a lot longer, so I think that's amazing. to see that dedication to get
I'm rubbish at solo. I need tips. I'm so bad. I can get about 60 points, and you need like 75 to actually do anything.
Yes.
So
You like the funny thing about that is that we were playing and Brad and I believe set the target around like 50 something, and then Manny's like, that needs to be harder because Manny can score about 100 points every game of solo, and he for him it wasn't challenging in 75, but I was like 75, I that's challenging for me to get
Yeah.
75.
Yeah, I don't though I've learned more since joining.
Yeah,
I've been taught the technique of not going for dragons, but instead trying to use your enchantment to gain the goods you need for the next enchantment, and
yes,
basically and I've been trying to do that more. It doesn't always work out for me, but it definitely helps stop the stack of dragons, stop me from playing. But yeah, and then also Kaylee, speaking of high
yeah. Look at
scores,
this. Yeah,
finished my 4th solo playthrough, so that's a burn in itself. Thanks, Kaylee. 4th time, and I finally got the hang of it here. New personal high score of 107.
107. That's awesome.
That is huge.
That's Manny level. So congratulations. You just the designer level. We need like a role for that in Discord.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love it. That's
if you've gotten
amazing.
over 100 in Flamecraft, that's amazing.
I could just aspire one day, maybe
Yeah.
one day.
That's
And then we
awesome that
also
people get a lot out of that because we fun fact about solo mode is that we designed Flamecraft without a solo mode. And then the campaign went ballistic and people said, I want a solo mode, I want a solo mode. And we decided to put it as a stretch goal. If we hit $1 million, and I can't believe, and we were all thinking like, there's no way we're going to $1 million. But if we do get there, we will spend the time to make a solo mode. And I know all the hours that Brad and Manny put into that solo mode. And I'm super excited that it got made. Fans demanded it. It was crafted. And now we see pictures of people still enjoying it to this day. It's heartwarming to see that, to know that it's loved, by people like that.
And
So
then we
awesome.
have on the Andromeda's Edge fan
Yeah, this
group.
was something I mentioned earlier is that there was a cruise just recently, the Dice Tower cruise. I actually had a lot of friends in LA go. They were bummed I wasn't on that one. And here,
It's Bill.
Yeah, Bill is he's posted a lot in our Facebook group. Bill's having a blast with this game. So I love the fact that he taught new players because that's great. That's like an expert, knows the game really well, has been teaching his group, teaching other groups. I think he posted a picture of like multiple people playing at once. And so to have that person, to have Bill go out there and teach means that
If you read it, it says 2 of which said it was the best game of the cruise. The other one was Lost at Sea.
That's great. Bill,
And also, I love that
people
they say it seems to be
and
checked out loads at the event, because what it is, if anyone's ever been to an event like this, is there's a library, and so
Yeah.
you check out games to play, which means that potentially if there's a game you want to play but it's really popular, you may have to game at weird times or try and scout it out at a certain time. So it sounds like it was on a table most of the time, which is awesome. That's amazing to hear.
Yeah, we got an email from there's another convention coming up called Level Up, and they were like, we want to put Andromeda's Edge in the Hot Games Room, which is really cool that they wanted to do that. So we're getting them a copy for that because I love hearing the stats of like, it was in the Hot Games Room at Board Game Geek in 24 in November, and it was checked. We had checked out and checked out and checked out. It was like in the top 40.
Yeah,
it's really great to see that. It's a big game too, so the stats on a big game getting checked out a lot are kind of awesome because, of course, a little game can be checked out and put right back and checked out again. It takes a lot to get Andromeda's Edge checked out in the top 40 of a con like that.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. So Andromeda's Edge was just one of the things that we were working on this past weekend, because we had a dev retreat, something that we tend to have about quarterly, where we like play everything that's on the future docket and current docket. We play all the things over and over and talk about the status of everything with our dev team. So really exciting to do that. And Luke was kind enough to join us because he was bringing some Andromeda's Edge expansion cards and expansion factions and expansion raiders and expansion. Can't talk about some other things, but it was a very successful test. Let me tell you, I had a blast playing Andromeda's Edge as we always do, but it really comes alive with new things to do in that game. So
awesome.
yeah, that was really fun. I know that our Discord is busy testing new dragon types for Flamecraft because we are talking about Flamecraft duels where dragons are 2 different types, and we're also talking about 2 different types of dragons coming into Flamecraft. So as they come into Flamecraft, what do they do? And they each have a different power, and we were testing that kind of thing. A lot of fun. Those dragons are very coveted. Our Discord members are finding that out. People are loving all the different dragons. Of course, we haven't on Discord. We've been off for about a week because of the dev retreat. Chris is recovering.
We'll be back.
We'll have more tests coming. Like, we're going to test more of all of these games. Like, so the dev retreat actually like decides like what's the right time to get people into games. I believe we're really close to testing duels with people. If you want to test that Flamecraft duels, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in February. And then we're also going to still keep testing Flamecraft cards. And then eventually we'll get Andromeda's Edge testing, Whisperwood testing, and Flamebound testing as well. So if you like that whole play an early version of a game, it's not for everyone because things break out of nowhere. Things are unbalanced. People win and they're like, hey, wait, that wasn't fair. That card was totally that wasn't a fair card. That stuff happens. But you can get, and sometimes like the people who are playing Flamecraft with the hybrid dragons have no art on those cards because that's getting not done yet. So you have to use your imagination that it will be fun and awesome when it's all done. Those kind of things are really fun to do though, because you do get to see how it changes. I know that Ellie in our server, she's pointed out sometimes like, oh, that card was like this, and then a bunch of people broke it, and then that card got ripped out or changed or all that stuff. It's really fun.
Yes.
Oh, we got more questions.
Yes. Olvi, I hope I'm saying that right. Wants to know if we'll be able to purchase Andromeda's Edge faction t-shirts. We are in the process of basically we want to use a print on demand service, which means that it's easier for people to get all over the world. But we need to quality check basically. So we get samples sent to us. We wash them a bunch of times. We wear them. These are things that we have to do, but we're on the case.
We are on the case.
The case.
It's very excited that people want to get shirts. We are working on a Critter Kitchen shirt, a Flamecraft new emblem seal that we've had on some of our latest shirts for Flamecraft, and an Andromeda's Edge. Astrodrakis will be the first faction, and then a Cardboard Alchemy shirt, because we have actually had some people say they want to wear the potion bottle, the purple potion bottle, which is an honor to hear people say that, because I only thought that
they want to pretend to be staff. They want to go
there you go. At a con, you too can run a game of Flamecraft and tell people how it goes, and we will appreciate that very much. Actually, I sometimes go to cons just to run into those games of people who are playing Flamecraft and then give out goodies if I have any, because it's fun to just meet people in the wild who are playing your game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we are working on the shirts. We, like Rosie said, we're trying to make it worldwide, so you can order that shirt from anywhere, and we know the expectation that's the same shirt, that if you anywhere to anywhere, feels like the quality has been met. So we have to test a couple of those, and then we'll be on it. On the case.
On the case.
Yeah. Oh, and Pizza Coven shirts. Well, Pizza Coven shirts are not we were putting a Pizza Coven shirts were a one-off. There is somebody who won a contest in our Discord. I got to get them a Pizza Coven shirt. Maybe we'll have more contests to win those. But what the shirt we're making for Flamecraft is the new emblem, the new seal that we came up with, the coins. The Series 2 coins have a back, which is the now Flamecraft seal, and that's what's going to be on the shirt.
It's very cute.
Fun. Oh, I could do more Flamecraft merch if people want to talk about that someday. We'll have a poll someday in Flamecraft to talk about more items.
Absolutely.
We have a very active Discord too, and someone was shouting at mugs, and I was like, oh my god, yes, I want mugs someday too.
We have so many ideas.
It's too many games, too little time, but also too much merch. Yeah,
too little time.
Merch. Okay, it's not how we, it's funny because someone posted in our Discord, like, wait, are you a board game company? Yes, we are a board game company. We just happen to get into the games we make a lot, and then Plush happen. I don't know how this happens. It just does.
I mean, we're not the only ones.
Nope, this happens.
There's a Cosmoctopus plush. There are
Yes.
Everdell plush.
Yeah, there
I've seen other plush knocking around. I think we started a trend, to be honest.
That's funny. If we did a mug where the color changes. That's funny.
I have so many mugs. I remember on Discord you said you choose your mug for the day, and I was like, I have about 6 mugs on the go at a time, Peter. One a day.
Yeah, I drink a lot of tea, but apparently
But then you wash it out.
not enough. Yeah,
Oh.
but I have like I'll usually say like, oh, what am I feeling? I like to get like I was at Essen and I bought like there's a meeple one that I have that's neat that was handcrafted by these people that sell at Essen every year. I have one from the Aquarium of the Pacific, which I mentioned. It's like the bottom is larger than the top, and it has sort of
Nice.
and then it has octopus tentacles going all the way around the cup. Really fun. And I just sort of like, which mug am I in the mood for? I don't have a matching, like I'm not a house with matching mugs at all. There's like
Me and Will were the same.
there we go.
There's like 6 different mugs everywhere at all times. Yeah.
There you go.
This is my reliable pumpkin mug.
Mark's saying he would love an official A coffee mug. I know your wife made you a mug. So we'll have to talk to you about this. Yes, we can figure out that'd be cool to have an Andromeda's Edge one.
But could it be like those really awkward popcorn buckets they make for like, the ones they made for Deadpool as a joke, and they made the Sarlacc. I don't know. They made like a Star Wars one at one point, but it just what's the most awkward development shape?
Yeah,
I guess it would be an obelisk. That would be the most
absolutely
awkward. But I kind of like the idea of an observatory mug. I think that would be kind of
that's
fun.
cool. Yeah.
Just make it hard to drink out of.
Make it hard, yeah. It's funny. The other thing is we did get some Andromeda's Edge glasses at Essen, which was really fun. I have a couple spares. I don't think they would ship well, so I don't know if we could do a contest for those because
Tim Chuon, he carefully cradled it at home and it still broke.
So that one's a hard one. That's the other reason why we haven't gotten to mugs is because they campaigns for like people say, oh, why'd you do art prints? Well, it's hard to get that flat somewhere. Why'd you do mugs? Well, that will break. So
yeah. We did look at, I remember when we were doing Critic Kitchen research, we were looking at like enamel mugs and we were looking at lots of things. But the thing is that the cost of some of those things is extortionate. Like, enamel mugs are very hardy though. So if you ever need a travel mug, that's the one to go for.
Yes. We might need a travel mug for one of our games, but we'll work on that. Well, we're past time, I suppose. And I didn't show any art. I'm so sorry for the folks that were waiting for art.
Come back next week.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're very close to sharing the hybrid dragons and the first look at the hybrid dragons because Sandara's working on it. She has a lot of cuties to share with you, and we don't want to we want to give her the chance to be ready for that moment, but they're almost here. So the live streams will be one way to go. Obviously we're going to post these in Facebook, and Sandara has an Instagram. If you haven't followed her on Instagram, she posts a lot of cute artwork over there. She has a Facebook page as well. I believe she simultaneously posts, so you could choose your poison there.
Mark, my birthday is next week. It's very close to Peter's. My birthday is next week, so I won't be here next week because I will be
celebrating
Board Game Cafe in the evening, playing Lord of the Rings trick-taking game. So that's where I'll be.
That's awesome. I'm excited by that.
I'm excited. See if I can get further than chapter 5. But yeah, thank you for remembering, Mark. You have an incredible memory because you should tell Doug. Thank you, everyone. It's very kind of you.
Yeah, that's awesome. The birthday wishes have been great over here as well. We want to, we used to have a bot in the Discord that would, you could tell it your birthday and then it would do a happy birthday for people.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, we found that bot was run by terrible people, so we sacked that bot in the Discord. But what I need to do is get another one in there because I loved seeing someone's birthday being shouted out by like just it was coming around like, oh, I didn't know it was a birthday, and you could choose whether you wanted to input it or not. So we need one of those to come back because that was a lot of fun.
That is fun.
So because we want to celebrate with you all year round. So.
Yeah. I like that you can go get like free drinks and stuff. Someone does this video where they go to all these different companies in the town and go, here's all the free stuff you can get on your birthday. You can get this from Starbucks. You can get this. I won't be doing that because I can't eat and drink most of those things, but it's a great challenge for the day.
Dr. Gamer will never run out of topics because someone will always be asking, I want to share a bot people story.
Next time. Remind us. Next time.
Right. Yes, if we didn't get to your question or we didn't tell the story of what you wanted to hear, please tell us. We are on Facebook. We have groups for Flamecraft, Andromeda's Edge, and Critic Kitchen. The Critic Kitchen group should be alive very soon with I Got My Game. And then we have a Discord where you can talk about all our games. And as we mentioned, play the games. And we've got this YouTube channel where these videos are posted. You can feel free to ask anything you want. Also on our campaign walls. We're really everywhere. We're even on TikTok for now. Rosie's still on TikTok. I don't know if I'll be on TikTok after this week. We'll see.
We
don't know. But we do have an account on TikTok where Rosie puts out videos all the time.
We are on there. And occasionally I get the very kind message from one of my followers going, someone's stolen your content. And I go, do not worry. That's me. It's very sweet. And I'm like, it's all unique content. It's not the same. Don't worry.
Yeah, if you want to
chat, very kind of them.
If you want to chat about anything Flamecraft, you'll have no shortage of chances with Rosie, I'm sure, to talk Flamecraft. So we appreciate all that.
And it's all posted on Instagram as well. So even if we do say goodbye to the dancing app, we'll be somewhere else. Something else will crop up.
Honestly, and I said this earlier today, if TikTok goes away, we might just get more games done at Cardboard Alchemy. I'm going to be more productive. Instead of me trying to cook up ideas of how we could do like TikTok content with Rosie or thinking about how to do board game pairings or following all sorts. I mean, Jason does great videos over there. So I will probably get your games, just more games will happen. So I don't know, maybe that's not a bad thing. Anyway, we have a lot more topics. I'll be here next week to chat about all these different things. We'll keep it going, and we'll have a toast to Rosie, where you're playing Lord of the Rings. When we'll
I expect a harmonized sing along.
Absolutely.
I would like the song that Billy Boyd sings from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Yep.
That's but also I'll have Tales of Vegas, and we'll see if if I followed Will's advice and put all of the money from Cardboard Alchemy on black and said, let's see what happens. No, I'm not going to do that. Although I will say, I funded my first game, What the Food, in 2013, and the money raised was about $22,000. And I was a big poker player at that time. And the World Series of Poker was right after that, and it was a $10,000 entrance fee to get a seat at the World Series of Poker. And I was like, I could just gamble this Kickstarter money, but I didn't, and that's why I'm still making games, reliably making games. I didn't win the World Series.
Play the gang.
I do. I do love the gang.
That's
a good way to get your poker fix in. But anyway, thank you all for entertaining this random chat topics. Have a good weekend. Tell us what you've been playing, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
And